Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. So today we're going to do a really nice message. This is a message from a past loved one or ancestor. So it's going to be a heartfelt message from an ancestor. Okay, so we're going to get the piles picked. This one will run a little bit differently as well. We're going to do 2 cards to give a description, I guess, or a little bit about the ancestor, your ancestor or loved one that's coming through, and then a message from them. Alright, so we've got pile 1, nope, this one's 2, nope, 3, and are you ready now? Okay, 4. Alright, so let's have a look at each pile and see what's come through. So for pile 1, you have the blue laser gate with kindness, good communication, peaceful outcomes, love and marriage. Okay. For pile number 2, you have sapphire, channeled wisdom, psychic ability, self-expression, and destiny. For pile number 3, you have the red jasper, nurture, determination, relaxing, and tranquility. Okay, and lastly for pile number 4, you have moldavite with healing, protection, telepathy, and connection. So here are your 4 piles, and this is going to be a message from a loved one who has passed or an ancestor. So take your time, pick whichever pile calls to you. Feel free to pick all piles if you are called to each one. What I'll do is I'll leave a timestamp down below and you can go straight to your video. Hello everyone, welcome to the shuffling process. So as I said just in the introduction, we're going to find or give a little bit of information about the ancestor, the past loved one that's coming through today. So we've got these 2 piles, and this will be lumped in with the shuffling process. So I'm going to keep these slightly separate from the other cards, the message. So I'm going to cut this in and then come back and cut in the rest of the shuffling process just while I sort out the cards because there's so many. Okay, so for each pile, can we please get the ancestor, a little bit about the ancestor or the past loved one that's coming through. Alright, this one really needs to come through. Okay. And one more card. A little bit about an explanation or a little bit of information on the past loved one that's coming through today. My throat sounds a little croaky, it's just because of change of season in Australia. We're heading into winter, and to be honest, spring, summer, winter, autumn, they all have a season where my hay fever gets a little triggered. Okay, so that was just a short and sweet shuffle. So what I'll do is I'll cut it here and then we'll come back and do the rest of the shuffling. Hello again. So now we'll get into the shuffling process. So we've done the shuffling for the ancestors, and now we're going to get into the shuffling for the message from these ancestors, past loved ones, whoever is coming through today. Okay, this one is definitely coming out. Put that there so I can pull the main card. So just so you know, I have this one. I have shuffled these beforehand, so if they come out quite quickly, this is because I've already put the intentions in. Right, message from your loved ones. This came to me, it was really interesting, it came to me last night while I was just like about to go to sleep, and I was like, I need to remember this. And I completely forgot it, and I was like, what should I do? And I was like, oh, this should be about emotion. And I was like, hang on, that's not right. And I did a quick reading about it, and it came up with the 5 of Cups, which is generally about loss or disappointments, things like that. The 6 of Cups, which is about memories, the past, and what's the last one? You know what? Oh, the 6 of Pentacles, which is about giving and taking. You know, there's many different interpretations. But it reminded me, I was like, oh yeah, of course, this was supposed to be about ancestors, loved ones. So sometimes that's an easy way or a quick way to remind yourself if you forget. Your guides will remind you. All right, message from your loved ones. And I thought they were really perfect cards for to remind me of like, or to remind everyone of like a message from their ancestors. We're also coming up to a Remembrance Day in Australia and New Zealand called Anzac Day, and it's all about you know, remembering the people who have fought in wars and passed or served to, you know, protect. So that coincided with everything else that's been happening around the world. I thought this was a good time to remember, get a message from your ancestors. I really feel both of these. And also really nice gems, crystal cards that have come through. Especially the first one, just with kindness, love and marriage. This feels very, very close. Of course, each one will have a different message, maybe from a different ancestor, but I can feel that one is going to be very, you know, I mean, they're all going to be personal, but maybe this is more personal to you specifically, like very, very close, let's say. But we'll see. This deck, I almost wasn't going to use it. I picked a different deck. And I was like, oh, but I was going to use that deck. And then I was about to shuffle the other cards. And it was like, no, I need to grab this one. This is the right one. Lots of blues. Actually, I didn't even notice, but yeah, all these decks have, oh, and this one too. Every single Oracle card has a blue background. Lots of emotions. I think this deck's really interesting. This pile, they really want a lot of cards. They have a lot to say. I feel like that this is the deck for ancestors saying a lot. For whatever reason, ancestors connect with this a lot. When I first started reading, and this was one of my first Oracle cards, ancestors would hijack people's readings just to come through and say hello. Someone would be asking about love, their ancestors would come through and just tell them what they wanted to say. So I had to set up some rules astrally. You know, respectfully, of course. But if the person is more interested in finding out, you know, about something else, then kind of have to respect their free will. But humans will be humans, I think, even on the other side. And the room is getting super warm. So it tells me that definitely a bit of a lineup, let's say, of spirits wanting to share their love and appreciation, their thoughts and feelings. this is a loving message from ancestors. Alright, so 2 cards from here. This one. Search energy sometimes gets really pumped and I'll start like shaking a little bit, and it's not anything other than just excitement or like a lot of whatever energy. I mean, it's always going to be positive. It just might be different types. So joy, happiness, surprise, sometimes a little bit of sadness in there, like appreciation. Sometimes you get so happy you cry, that kind of energy. So I'll try to keep emotions as clean and as clear as possible. So interesting, sometimes I'm like, is this the right one? And it'll get stuck there, and then it's like, no, it's for this pile. I get you. I get you. Yeah, I feel like this will be a nice, chill, loving, caring reading today. Yep. All right. Okay. So that does conclude the shuffling process. I'm going to put these ones on top of here. Trying to figure out how to do this cleanly. So the first 2 are going to be a little bit about the ancestor coming through. I don't know if I'll have enough space, or what am I trying to do this way? For all the cards out at once, so I'm probably going to grab the first 2 and then move them aside, and then I might bring them back out at the end of the reading just to remind you of the ancestor that came through, because the message might feel a little bit different to your first thoughts on the ancestor coming through, or the past loved one. Oops, I am smacking my mic. Alright, so thank you for being here. Down below you'll be able to jump straight to your video, so hopefully you enjoy, and I'll see you in your reading. Hello, pile number 1, so welcome to your reading. Now this is a message from your ancestors or from your past loved one, a past loved one. So we'll see who is coming through first. These first 2 cards are going to tell us a little bit about the being or the loved one that's coming through. So you've got blue lace against, so this may give you a hint. You have picked this with the messages kindness, good communication, and peaceful outcomes. All right. Oh, and love and marriage. Did I say that? Love and marriage. So let's take a look at these 2 cards first. You have gossip and Lord. Really interesting. So you've got Lord would take charge with authority. Now this could be, regardless of gender, someone who is definitely the kind of head of the family, or thinks they're the head. They tried to act like they were head of the family. There's kind of like a bit of a jokester here, especially with this gossip. For some reason it's coming off more like funny. But Lord, it could also be someone who was the head of the family, that was like the patriarch, matriarch, let's say, who tried to look after everyone, do what's right for everyone involved. Take charge with authority is the message on that card. So the gossip card, the light attribute, awakens consideration for the feelings of others, honoring trust with Lord, someone very true to their convictions, let's say, truth teller, someone very truthful. Because almost doesn't feel with this light attribute, it doesn't feel like what we'd say quote unquote gossip, but someone that would give you the facts or be straight with you, let's say. The shadow attribute here is thrives on power of passing on private or secret information, betraying confidence. So with these two cards, I hope that helps you understand which ancestor, which loved one that is in the spirit realm is coming through today. So I'm going to move these aside. I might bring them out at the end to just remind you, but they're going to slip under here, just so I've got space for the rest of the cards. Okay, so these are the tarot, and I'll start with the oracle cards first. You have synchronicity. Really interesting message coming through. So this is the message portion of your reading today. It feels like they are planning something. It's really interesting with this, like, while it's saying kindness, good communication, we've got gossip and the Lord. It does feel like they are also, it's almost like they were organizing things in the real world, let's say, real world, our 3D world. They're also doing the same thing in heaven or in the spirit realm. They're still organizing stuff. They're still helping. They're still planning things. They're just trying to structure things in a positive way, to a helpful way. When you have joy, I feel like this is like, while it's it feels like not serious, but a trustworthy, stable, kind of grounded person, there's still happiness and joy and love here. I feel like this is a message, like, while this is talking about a little bit about them as still, this is also talking to, they just want you to be free, like, be happy, be joyful. This feels like freedom. For some reason, the hummingbird. Hummingbirds are quick darting around, but they also want you to enjoy life. What I was saying about grounded, they also are trying to instill these situations. I feel like they're planning certain, maybe they have already planned after they've passed. I feel like they've gone through what they have to go through. I have no idea what happens, but whatever they do to get to a point where they can start assisting, they're like, okay, now let's try to get this person in their life to remind them of this. Let's try to have this challenge come up to remind them of how lucky they are. Or this challenge to remind them that they're just a human. You're just human having a human experience, kind of thing. So you got lobster with grounded enlightenment. Okay. You've also got Goddess Ran with catch a break. This feels kind of like a little bit of heaviness here. It's almost like, catch a break's like, when's it my turn to just chill or have something easy come up? I feel like they're really working hard to try to get this for you in some sense. The Goddess Ran fate. Sometimes this is dealing with a cycle of challenges, like you've been through the cycle, but because the lesson hasn't been explored or learned or something like that, it's coming back again. I think they're kind of warning you about this, like they want you to have this, but you have to get the lessons. You have to ground that information in, get it out of your head and into your full body, and then understand where you're at. Also, you have Shambhala initiations, retreating to recharge, trusting the process, and Dharma. Yeah, they're really trying to get good, like the right things in here, but then we've got fate and trusting the process. Cycles have to be played out sometimes. And if you're seeing signs of like red flags, warnings, or good things coming up, take advantage of that joy. Explore your joy. If it's a challenge, understand it so it's something that can be learned from. I feel like they really are trying to help with this. This person's involved. I will say that they were involved in a particular way in your, let's say, your 3D life or in Earth life. And now they're still working. They're still working. They haven't stopped working. I don't know how it works, but maybe they found a job or something and they were like, okay, I can do this job. I'll start doing this immediately. All right, you have the King of Wands. Interesting King of Wands, because they're always individuals. They're always expressing themselves. This one just feels like he's got it. He's got the skills. He's got it. He's just waiting for the right time. So look out for the signs. Okay. I might put that. No, I'll put that up here. Interesting. You got the Help Fund, which is the Six of Pentacles. Donate now, share, that kind of thing. It's like they really are supporting, but also they're like putting in the it's kind of like, oh, make a butterfly fly past their face. They turn around and to wave it away, let's say, and they see a sign and it's got like wanted ad or something like that. You know what I mean? It's almost like they, I don't know who your ancestor is, but they're very like they're kind of very like planning, kind of like a planning angel, kind of trying to. I watched a TV show where these angels try to plan little synchronicity type things, like things happening and then something else happens and it leads to this them meeting another person. I think it was Spanish or like South America or something like that, but speaking Spanish. Can't remember. But it's reminding me of that. And this is like, you know, get the support. If you need a support, like they're here to help. They'll lead you to the right, to what you need, what you're looking for, what you are aspiring to. You've got the skills, get the support you need to like bolster you, is that the word? Push you. They have so many messages. Like this feels like bits of many messages. I guess because it's also a collective reading, right? So different, this is the energy of this ancestor. So they're going to split different messages up in a way that I can bring through quickly in such a short amount of time. Got the Eight of Cups. This is really feeling like not getting things met. Fate and catch a break. Time to move on. Time to move towards something new. Like this is the past. Like the bones down here. Maybe this is still, there's still like a, there's always going to be an attachment of like care and love and support to past loved ones. And this is kind of still touching on that, but there's more to explore. This, just because they have gone doesn't mean your life is finished either. And they're coming through like really wanting you to embrace the joy and you know, take their challenges head on, because there's more for you. Yeah, there we go. The sun coming out right at the end. They got joy, they got the happiness of the sun. I feel like in here there's something about remembering. It doesn't show it here, but there's like, remember the joy and the love and support that you have, not just for yourself or that you felt when you were younger. Like they just want you to keep that that exchange going. Like accept receive the good that you put out as well. It's a really nice message. Grounded enlightenment is interesting. It is definitely about grounding your energy and understanding this message even, or this the synchronicities. It's like, if you are grounded and feel stable and not stuck in your head, because people that, you know, some people that even don't look into religion or spirituality or anything like that can still be up in their higher chakras or in their brain, let's say, in their mind, like lots of things swirling around. Sometimes grounding, it gives them time to appreciate the world, nature, that kind of thing. That appreciate what's around them, or what they have, where they came from, who they are, where they're working towards, where they're going. And it's like, you can give that love and that support to others. You can also, you know, receive it. It's not a bad thing to receive. Then there always needs to be this ebb and flow of energy, masculine, feminine energy. In our 3D world, money or, material, that's not, there's no judgment there. This is all about ebb and flow of energy. I just like the sun at the end because they're reminding you of joy at the start, sun at the end. You've got this catch a break with fate. It's like this waiting. And I think by grounding, I feel really truly by grounding, you'll understand what this is and you'll be able to see from another perspective. Look out for the synchronicities that come up. Notice them because they are support from your guides, from your ancestors, and even from this ancestor or this past loved one that's coming through today. It's like they have a strong exterior, but a soft, gooey inside, let's say. I feel like some of them are like, no, I don't, but they do. I feel like they're not lying, but they're just like trying to act, I guess, strong. But they really do. I feel like this is also part of them as well. They're like, you have the ability. I had it, you have it. We all have something within us that needs to be explored. Like, fly your individual flag of who you are. If you're in a situation that you're not getting your needs met or appreciating the life that you have, go towards what's going to bring you happiness. What's going to bring you love, support, and joy in your life. What's going to bring the sun into your world. And if you already are, great, keep going. Remember, they're supporting you through this. They care about you. They really are trying to organize whatever they're doing, whether they're trying to send a man into your life, a woman into your life, or whatever, or like they're trying to make you look at a particular advertisement or something like that. Maybe it's just even to remind you, like sending animals in to like go, hey, I'm still here supporting you. Because sometimes the message doesn't have to lead to something grand. It can just be a reminder of the support and love of past loved ones. And that's exactly what I see in your reading today, pile number 1. So hopefully you enjoyed. It's a little bit different to my usual readings, but this one was coming through very strong and I couldn't really ignore doing a ancestor one. Sometimes getting ancestors come through can be kind of a lot of pressure, I guess, or a lot of force, let's say. And even today it's okay, but I feel like I got to a place where I can bring you through the messages, and I really hope you enjoy. Please take care of yourself. Thank you for listening to me today, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading today. So you've chosen Sapphire. So this is the card you've chosen to represent the message from the ancestor. These first 2 cards will give you a little bit of a hint of which ancestor is coming through for this reading. Potentially it will change, so you'll think, oh, maybe it's this one, but the message might give you more of a clue of who it is. So here is your card, Sapphire, coming through. Really nice. This is my birthstone personally, so really lovely that it's coming through today. So let's take a look at your ancestor who's come through to give you a reading, or past loved one if you want to use those words. Interesting, you've got Trickster coming through, and also the Spirit Fox, which is really interesting because the fox can sometimes be seen as like curious, tricky, flighty, that kind of thing. So we've got a Trickster and a Spirit Fox. It says, trust your talents in changing times. This is a lovely message as well, but this may be a little bit about them. They may have been able to adapt, or they had like a super skill, let's say, and whatever happened, they were able to support. I don't know why that's coming through straight away, but that's just how it's feeling. It's like they really did what they could, as much as they could. But then Trickster coming through is a little interesting. The light attribute coming through here is transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. Transcending, I like that. They were a little bit of a, it's not really like a rebel, but they did things their own quirky way. They were able to see outside the box, for sure, 100%. Adaptable, looking outside the box, 100%. The shadow attribute is manipulating others through duplicity. So, you know, we never are always in our light. Sometimes we do fall into our shadow, and maybe this is something that came through in their life, and that maybe you've experienced. So we'll take a look at the message that's coming through from this particular ancestor. Just going to put the cards under here. Okay, so I'm going to start with the oracle cards. So you've got love. Really nice card to come through. It's pure love. There feels like a message here of love what you do as well, but I'm going to read here. It says love is the foundation of your existence, and you're just as worthy of receiving as you are of giving love and compassion. While love can be a beautiful emotion, it is equally a form of energy that propels you through life. Always feeling and working from the heart space. I feel like you are always doing right by you and kind of by this ancestor as well. I feel like they have the trickster is kind of like very interesting energy. I don't feel like they're like tricky or like, you know, that kind of thing. It's just like it does feel like they had their own unique take on life. You have the deer with grace. There's like a little bit, this is maybe just for some of you, it's like almost like do better than what I did, or have more humility than I had, let's say. It's really interesting. They're kind of like smiling while they're saying it's like, yeah, it's like don't do as I like do better than I did, but just because I do it doesn't mean you should do it. That's really funny. Anyway, let's have a look. You have coral reef sequin with environmental awareness. Yeah, take a look at what's around you, how you treat yourself, how you treat your home, how you treat your land, how you treat the sky. You know, it's really about your environment. Doesn't have to be just the trees, you know, that kind of thing, but be aware, be more open to what that means, I feel like. There's also this very similar facial position, like eyes closed kind of. I don't know if her eyes are open, but just that it's almost like taking it in, really feeling and experiencing it, because you could go on a holiday somewhere and look around and just be like, oh, this is amazing, and then take photos and look around, you know, but really dive into the environment, be part of it. You also have White Tara with resilience, my spirit endures. I feel like this is a little bit of them as well. They're still there. They're like, of course I'm still here. Nothing really changed. I just moved out of it's almost like they're saying they moved out of their body. There's like they rented that body and just moved out. Like, you know, they were done with it. They've lived there long enough, now they're moved out. Very weird message, but that's just how it's coming through. Oh yeah, voice activation, you have something to say for sure. Like while you're good at enduring, or while they're kind of speaking to endurance, they're like, tolerate what you want, but think about what's happening and speak up where you need to, because they're supporting you through this. The Seraphim Gateway with voice activation, angelic attunement, and divine support. Yeah, your guides as well as this ancestor. I feel like they're probably part of your guide team now. Once they passed after the whatever time it takes, they've thought like, yeah, I'm going to be on this team and help. They might also do a couple of other things that might be a little bit like, that's annoying. Like, I don't know, it just feels like they might hide your keys or something like that sometimes, just to see what happens and see how you react. Maybe not to upset you, but just to remind you that not everything has to be taken so seriously. Okay, let's have a look here. So you have the Five of Wands, which is, again, there's like so much talking about. There needs to be like a break. Like there's right next to endurance, right? Spirit endures this conflict, but it's not really conflict, it's like debate. But then it's like, why are we arguing about this? Why are we talking about this? This isn't helping the world. This isn't really doing anything. They might be arguing about something that's like trivial, let's say, and that's going to be particular and personal to you. Very interesting. Got the Seven of Pentacles. Yep, start saving. I feel like they want you to go on holiday, want you to take a break, but you have to put in the effort. They're like, they'll be there to support you. They'll help guide you in the right direction or the direction that you want to go in. But they're not going to drop like, you know, spirit $1 million in front of you. You gotta put the effort in. Also got the Knight of Swords, which is really interesting. This Barracuda. I'm assuming Barracuda. Yeah, it's in the ocean. So Barracuda or Pike, if it's in the lake, something like that. But you know, they're very quick. Like they are slow kind of moving. They just sit there and then they like, I don't know how they do it, but they like dart and catch their prey. So they move very quickly for a short burst. This is also about focus though, because they are, you know, very focused on what they're doing and patient. And same here, they kind of want you to be patient. There's some patience here. It's like, if this is feeling like a lot, it's almost like don't give up. I mean, you do you, but this ancestor's like, don't give up. Wait it out until the right opportunity comes up and then go for it. That's really how it's feeling. Oh, I feel like they are there to communicate with you. They might even send really odd messages and odd things through and be like, what does that mean? Maybe I'm just making it up in my head, and they might kind of think that's a little bit funny, but it's like, that's part of this. They're almost like training you a little bit to trust that. So sometimes you might get weird things, but it might mean something. Take a moment and think about it. Take your time and think about it. But always do things or live from the heart space. Because whatever you do, even if it's with a lot of challenging people, let's say, family, maybe, you know, people that are on the side of the realm or the veil or whatever you want to call it, even workplace, it's like if you're coming from a place of love and not judgment or not lowering yourself to someone else's kind of level, you're always going to feel that you're doing your best, regardless of what happens. You're always going to feel it. But I feel like they want you to be focused, speak your truth or say what you need to say. And then also there's a message here of endurance and savings. But here, this High Priestess is like, has something to do with secrets. They're like trying to tell you something for sure. I don't know if that's for every single person, but they have like, maybe they had their secrets, you know, their own tricks. They had trickster. So they kept like a card up their sleeve, you know what I mean? They knew, maybe they knew something. I don't know. Or there's something that needs to be said. Something that needs light shed upon it. Trust your intuition with this. Maybe you can get this information out of them. I'm not too sure. But regardless, if you're going for what really feels right to you and from love, go for it. It's like, go for it. You've got the support from the angelic realm, from this particular guide for sure. This I'm assuming they're a guide because it just feels like a guide energy now. Ancestor, of course, but yeah, from this loved one, they're definitely here for you. You can do it with dignity and grace. That's how this feels. It's like, regardless of these challenging people, if you come from a heart space of love and like grace and diligence and like elegance almost, doesn't matter what these people are, who they are. You send out respect. If they don't give it back to you, that's on them, not you. You don't have to lower yourself. I'm not saying you should put up with it, even though you've got resilient endurance. They kind of are like, yeah, you can deal with it because you're saving for something better. Something better is coming up for you. They can do whatever. That's their life. That's their problem. minimize your time with them as much as possible, of course, but you're on your own path. You're on a path of like almost like love and care and feelings and, you know, beautifying your environment, I want to say. Even the sapphire is just such an elegant kind of deep blue gem. Anything else you want to say? I feel like they're like, of course. But this is for each individual, I feel. Communicate with them how you will. They're always there. They don't need you to do anything in particular to connect with them. They're just there. They're always connected with you. They'll remind you, they'll poke you sometimes to like, you know, if you're stuck in your head, they'll poke you. If you're kind of like feeling lazy or like there's nothing wrong with relaxing, but when you're just feeling like in your emotions or in your like just wanting to lie down flat for a while, they'll let you. But when it's time to move, they'll start poking you. They'll start prodding you and pushing you, I feel. Really, really interesting ancestor and loved one. So thank you very much for being here today. Hopefully you've enjoyed this reading. Really lovely. I'm happy to bring this message through to you today. And if you've enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, part number 3. So welcome to your reading today. I'm just going to move the mic a little bit. So you've chosen Jasper with the message Nurture, Determination, Relaxing, and Tranquility. Okay, we'll see how this plays in. So first of all, these 2 cards at the top are going to be in regards to this particular ancestor, this particular loved one who's passed. So it's a bit about them. This is about them. Maybe it clicks into not always who they were, but a very strong memory, or it could be exactly that, parts of their personality. Interesting. You've got Direction Guardian would choose your path. Maybe they did this. They what is it? Went to the, I don't know the saying, but I want to say it's like going to the rhythm of their own drum, dance to the rhythm of their own beat, something like that. Like moving in, like had their own convictions of life and how it should be for them, and they lived that. Or it's like they did many things, many different things. They explored many different avenues and what it means to be alive. Oh, okay. And they got Goddess. So very nice energy. I like that with determination and choose your own path. They did their own. They did things their way. So Goddess, the light attribute is the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. Really nice. The shadow attribute here is exploitation of the female nature and form. All right. So these are the 2 cards. You got Goddess and Direction Guardian. So we'll take a look and see how this relates to your reading. So the rest are a message from this particular ancestor or loved one. Okay. So you have give back. It's almost feeling like volunteer, or, you know, the money you make. It's almost like it's not meant to be hoarded. Something's not meant to be hoarded. Give and receive. Continue the ebb and flow of give and receive. It's like a pipe, and one way says give and the other one says receive. And it's like, make sure there's no blockages in this pipe. Give back. Really nice. You also have gratitude. Be grateful. Buffalo coming out. This is a very it's giving me almost like staunch mother vibes or grandmother vibes. I don't know why. Just that's how it's coming through. Like they're very like strong. And now they're like, yeah, you too. You do this too. Okay. You've got peaceful passageway, choose serenity. Pick your battles. This card's kind of feeling through with pick your battles. Is it worth the time and energy? By sometimes leaving things as they are, it doesn't mean you're giving up or letting them win. You're just choosing your own happiness over that kind of drama, let's say. Oh, this passageway and this bridge, it's just like, go through. This is really nice. I give freely with give back. So you got St. Bridget's well with compassion. Wow, they're really coming through with like these strong feminine vibes, like this strong woman kind of energy. This message is very strong. It's about flow. It's really about flow of energy in a lot of different ways. It's trying to take down some of the walls or the gates in the river of who you are, and like starting to want you to work with them to help lift those, so the energy and water can flow through the river easy. Okay, yeah, they're definitely communicating with you. You've got Soul Star activation, fulfilling soul contracts, remembering who you are. This is like, especially with the hair, with this little child, it's like, remember who you are. Wherever you are now, remember who you were as a child. Remember the past. Don't have to relive it, just remember it. Something there that you can tap into to, I feel like, balance or cool that energy down. No, relaxing tranquility. That's what it's all about. Choose serenity. There's a lot of like the flow with this, and even here they're like sending you messages from, I don't know, the sky, let's say. Now let's take a look at your tarot cards. Yeah, more relaxing here. A lot of relaxing, tranquility, choose serenity. Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands is like waiting for that ship to come in, that ship to arrive. And it's like, I don't need to sit there staring at the ship the whole time when you know that it's got 5 weeks or something to get into port. You don't have to sit there waiting for it without sleep. You can just chill. You can relax because you know it's coming. It's like knowing something good is coming up, or waiting for results from a test, or from, you know, exams or something like that, or from the university you're going to, or even from you know, the call from a loved one or something like that. Doesn't have to stay up in the higher chakras. It can come through when it needs to come through. Just flow. It's really just like about flowing. Also I have the Ten of Pentacles, which this one's really interesting because it's like, has all these little pictures of family, loved ones, maybe still here, past, etc. It's just like generational. That's why it's like remember things. Can also be about inheritance. That just popped in. Three of Cups, enjoy life. They just want you to love. Like, what is that? The saying or the thing that they used to write on the walls in stencils or something back in 2000s. It was like love life or something. Love life, live, something like that. It's like very that. It's like just enjoy. Three of Cups in conjunct with the Three of Wands. It's like just enjoy. There's no rush to get to the finish line of life because that's the end of life. So just enjoy each pit stop, each it's like playing a video game and getting to a save point, and then just explore. Just have some fun. And then here you've got the Five of Wands. I don't know why, but this feels really it feels really heartfelt, this Five of Wands. They're almost like, just because I was my way, you be your way. Remember the lessons that you have learnt from your past, whether I was involved or not. Like this ancestor was there or not. It's like build a better foundation for your life. Build a strong foundation. This beaver's just feeling like foundation. And it's difficult because they're going up against the current. But just because the water's rough today doesn't mean they are tomorrow. Wait until it's the right time. Pick your battles. They really want you to flow with life, like flow with the energy of life. Look after yourself, look after your family. And then in turn, life and family will look after you, it feels. A lot of really soft energy, like it's strong, but it's coming from the heart. It's like someone with a really stern face, I guess, really stern person. But it comes from a lot of love. Whether there was conflict in the past with this person or not, it's from a place of love. It's like challenge yourself and also take the time to look after yourself and be with the people that you love. It's like the friends, the family, self-love, and also taking on those challenges. There's so many messages here, but it's like with flow. Like you can still have challenges in your life because everyone's going to have challenges. But when there aren't any challenges, don't self-prophesize something being a big deal, a big challenge. I feel like they're like, just chill. They're almost like all of this is like, just chill. Just chill. Remember the good times. Remember how it was when maybe I was here, when we were together. In like a positive way, like, you know, the lessons, the hard stuff, the good stuff, the blessings, the hardships, I want to say. With all that learning, this is how it's built you into the person who you are today. Look after yourself, look after your family, look after your friends, and face those demons or challenges or things that you want to. Get that stuff that you want to do in life done. And that's all I have to say. That's kind of how the message is coming through. So that's exactly what I see in your reading today. Kind of very quick, but I feel like they were to the point. They do really care, they do really love, and they're just reminding you of your gifts, the blessing of life. So thank you very much for being here. Hopefully you've really enjoyed this message from your loved one or ancestor. If you've enjoyed, give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number 4. Welcome to your reading today. So you've chosen Moldavite with healing, protection, telepathy, and connection. So really interesting one. I was like, I wonder what kind of ancestor or loved one is coming through, because the rest of the piles is like, I'm pretty sure it's like this kind of person, etc., etc. But this one, I'm really not sure. So these 2 cards here will give you a hint as to who or what kind of personality this loved one has. Okay, so you have the Hermit, Retreat and Recharge. Hermits are really interesting, especially this one, because it's like a guru kind of looking here. But for whatever reason, it's just coming through with like, this is someone who was not always to themselves, but they liked their comforts, let's say. But they're almost like a genius. Like not a genius, but they were just like, there's something about them, they were highly skilled in something particular. They didn't know it, but like people would tell them and they're like, you know, like they were a great cook, or they were really, really, really loving towards humanity or people, their family. You know, there's something that was special about them. Maybe it was this. So you've also got Rescuer. The light attribute is provide strength and support to the others in crisis, acts out of love with no expectation of reward. With the Hermit and healing, it does feel like, were they like doctor, nurse, or something like that? Someone that really supported, psychologist, you know, child development, something like that. It's just something that was really strong about them. It's almost like they were so humble, they didn't need praise, they just did it. Like with no expectation of reward. They were kind of like it's almost like they were kind of like, leave me alone so I can help people. It's like, you know what I mean? There's a bit of that. I don't think they would say that, but like they were like, yeah, I'm glad to talk about this, and I'm happy you're interested, but I really need to get back to what I was doing. Shadow work, like almost even coming here and coming through for this reading today. That's why I couldn't pick up on them, because they were too busy. And they'll be coming back like, yeah, go. And then I'll go back to what I was doing. So I think they're doing exactly the same thing in spirit world, whatever that means or looks like to you. Shadow attribute assumes that the rescued will reciprocate, keeps the rescued one needy. So here are your cards today. So I'm going to pop these under here. So this is all about their personality. And this one here is going to be their message today to you. All right. Oh, I do like this. So you have Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom is great. It kind of touches on connecting with nature, connecting with the outside world, remembering that you're part of nature, whether you live in a city or out in the farm, or you know, you're a hermit as well and live up in the mountains somewhere. There's always time to connect with the natural environment and appreciate. It's like it just opens up a door of appreciation for the world and out of the hustle and bustle of life. I feel like they're definitely very connected to you too. Okay, so you have the butterfly with change. Really interesting. Yeah, I wonder if this is something coming up. I'm not too sure. We'll have a look. This one also had 2 cards come through. So you have Shark Spirit with clearer perspective. This is almost like being real and gaining clarity. But don't, it's almost like, I don't know why I'm saying don't, but it's like don't assume. Don't assume. You also have Heart Chakra Gateway with love, capacity, and expansion. They really care. They really care. They want you to open that heart up. Maybe it's a particular situation that needs reviewing, or a particular way of thinking. We'll see. It's really hard to read this for some reason, because I think they're just like, they're busy. They've got things to do. They're not rushing. They're like supportive. They want to help and get this message out clearly and concisely, but they also have stuff to do. I don't know why it keeps coming up like that. Maybe they need to go back to you and like support you, or like help other people in your family, or maybe they're working somewhere else. I'm not sure if they're doing a lot. You also have number 44, Tibetan Buddhist monk with mindfulness. I listen to the wisdom of my heart, right under Heart Chakra Gateway. This is really, like I say this a lot in readings, but this very, very, very clearly is about listening to your heart, not your emotions, not how it feels. I feel like, and always follow your own design, right? Your own true nature. But right now, it's time to really feel from your heart, like believe, think, see, feel from your heart. Make decisions from a heart space. And you've got Merkaba activation, transcendence, ascension, you are rising up. Wow, this is with change. This is making big changes in your life. And I think it's correct. Like it could be changing the way you eat, or being mindful of your environment. There's so many things. Just being mindful of other people. Really doing something that either they did or that they wish they did. There's something there with this. And with telepathy, it just feels like they're sending you this message. They might be sending it instead of to we would think in our heart, in our brains. They're like sending it to your heart. So make the changes you want to see in your life and in the world and with other people. Shark is really interesting. It's like something's going to come through. Something's going to be made clearer, or there's something else there. I think I want to quickly read from the book, because I'm kind of getting hounded to like keep speaking about the shark. But really we're interesting. We're like 44, 33. So if master numbers or Angel numbers speak to you. You might want to have a look at those. Okay, so I'm going to read the sacred meaning. It says, face fear. Fear may be self-created. Deeper experimental education. Change your perspective, with change right there. Like, these are very synchronous. They don't. Your ancestor, your loved one, does not muck around. They don't play games. They're here to share a very clear message. Change your perspective. Alter your beliefs. Become more introspective. Awaken to the creativity of infinite possibilities. Yeah, it's really about don't limit yourself. Give yourself the time and space from a heart space to choose where you want to be and who you want to be. Okay. You also have the devil, which is interesting because it's like, don't let it, this is just how it's feeling. It's like, don't let the 3D sidetrack you. Don't let the world sidetrack you from where you want to go. Just because the world doesn't operate in a particular way doesn't mean you have to follow that, because you're rising above it. Okay, and you've also got Knight of Wands. Follow your passions. Go for it. Like, this is like, she's on her little moped. She's on, it's like a little fire coming out. I like that. It's like she's on a mission, on her own personal mission. May involve people, may not. Doesn't matter. It's her own. She's doing it her way. You have the Eight of Pentacles. Put in the work. Yep. Put in the effort. Do what you need to do to get there. Pay off the bills, debt. It's like a lot of debt here, a lot of bags. It's like, get yourself out of a situation, make that change that you want to see in your life. And the Six of Wands, yeah, look, they really are supporting you. Like, this feels like part of your ancestral team, or even just your guides or something like that, loved ones who have passed, like more than one. They're all here to support you. They're like putting you on a pedestal, let's say, but not so that you feel like you have to do anything. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. They're just here to support whatever you choose to do. But it's like, push yourself up as well. Be recognized for what you do, and you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You just have to do what you want to do. Make the changes you want to see in your life. Feel and think from a heart space on what that is. Because whether you're here or not, if you believe you are, or if you work like you are in this space, the rest doesn't really matter. But you are rising up. You're starting to, I feel like you've already done some of the work for some of you. Like, you've got a clear understanding. Connect with nature, of course. I do feel like the green here just flows in nicely with the natural world. Even though it's particularly talking about animals, sometimes they are very grounding to us. Cats, dogs, you know, chickens, whatever you have. It's like they are grounding. Or even if you don't have pets, like zoos and stuff. Maybe not always the best case, but like even just being out in nature, you know, whatever. This isn't about telling you who to be or what to do. It's about you choosing what feels right to you. If there is a something in your life that needs remedying, like remedial work, take this as a sign to start living that, making those changes whether you want to see. In a timely space, like in a rush for you. Slowly, slowly, one pentacle at a time, it feels. One step at a time. Because no matter where you are, you can always make the changes you want to see. And if it takes a long time, it takes a long time. But if you're working and moving towards your goals or what you want to see in your life, then you're always doing something right. That's how the message really wants to come across. And that's exactly what I see in your reading today. So hopefully you've enjoyed this. It was lovely bringing this message through. I feel like they're a very supportive person in their, when they were alive, when they were around, when they were physically here. They're still doing the same thing, or they're still doing a version of something similar in wherever they are now. And they're still here to support. I do like this peaceful pose here. They're like very connected to you. Maybe they've learned something new in the spirit realm. Maybe they were like this, right? Busy as well. They see this, and now they're like blended energies, like, you know, the Temperance card almost, they're blended. All right. So thank you very much for being here. If you've enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, take care of yourself. Hopefully you've enjoyed the reading again, and I'll see you in the next reading.